अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तिनको स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नवाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So we will continue on our discussion on Krambhat Paryay. We were on to the 28th module. Yeah, Krambhat Paryay and effort. So a lot of discussions have happened on effort. We ended on the 6th point and now the conclusion part is coming up. If one reflects deeply from there, I'll make you a host 1 minute. I made you a host, Himali. Okay. So far the discussion on sequentially bound modification, that is SBM or KBP, whatever you say. So what is effort? With all these discussions on effort, we come to the conclusion that decision making or the ascertainment is the infinite effort. Above that, self-realization is the infinite effort. Above that, manifesting omniscience knowledge is the infinite effort. Above that, getting liberated is the infinite effort. So all these are results. The main where we need to stop or where we could reach up to is the decision making, the ascertainment, the conclusion. Okay. So we always read the scriptures and then contemplate on it, analyze it, and then we come to the conclusion or the decision. Up to that is our effort. Everything else is the outcome of it, result of it. Although we may call it as infinite effort, but making decisions on these facts is the infinite effort. Okay. So this is all what we have discussed so far. Continuing with that discussion, I made you a post. You can share the Himali. I made you a post. Okay. So we come to the concluding part of module number 28. If one reflects deeply, it becomes clear that the, yeah. Can you enlarge a bit? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. This is absolutely fine. If one reflects deeply, it becomes clear that the very ascertainment. So here ascertainment means in Hindi it is nirnay. So here we can say determination or decision. Okay. Whatever.
Surety.
Pardon?
A surety.
Assurity. Okay.
So the
Fine.
assurity.
Pardon? If one reflects deeply, it becomes clear that the very ascertainment of sequentially bound modification inherently involves infinite effort. So the moment you make the decision, the moment you come to the conclusion is the infinite effort. The ascertainment of sequentially bound modification is itself the fruit of infinite effort. For within the ascertainment of sequentially bound modification, the realization of omniscience is included. The realization of omniscience is also included. Self-realization is also included, and getting liberated is also included. Just as the ascertainment of sequentially bound modification is not possible without the conviction and faith in omniscience, in the same way, without the help of ascertainment of sequentially bound modification, there can be no true conviction in omniscience either. So both are connected, okay? If you go on to make decision on one, automatically the other decision is also made, okay? So they are both connected to each other. If you understand one, you get the realization of the other. Now, as for the matter of pride of doership of other, okay, which this ignorant world has mistaken for effort. It is not the effort, but it has mistaken for effort. Ignorant world. Such effort must certainly be broken because it's not the effort in the first place. Okay. For it is not true effort at all. It is impotence. If the arrogance of doership of other does not dissolve even with faith in sequentially bound modification, then one must understand that sequentially bound modification has not truly been understood. Okay, it may not happen that you have understood it very nicely and you are not able to take decision on the your doership is not going away. Okay. The true fruit of faith in sequentially bound modification is precisely this: the shattering of the pride of doership and the awakening of inward facing right effort. Very nice words have been used here, and it's more or less connects with the Hindi meaning. Okay. Those who see effort as vanishing in the faith towards sequentially bound modification have in truth not understood the true nature of effort at all. They have mistaken effort to be only alternating the other or meddling with modifications. Such individuals must first reflect seriously upon the true nature of effort. It is my firm belief that once the true nature of effort becomes clear in their understanding, their doubts and apprehensions will naturally dissolve. Without this clarity, resolution of the said doubt is not possible. Therefore, I humbly urge them to reflect deeply upon the true nature of effort. So this is the end of module number 28, and now we start the next module. So next two modules are related to omniscient again. Okay. So belief of omniscient Lord. This is the heading of module number 29. Belief of omniscient Lord. Okay. So Jia, you read.
So can someone else read for now? I'm just settling down. I'm connecting to my laptop.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Rekha, could you read? Or Roshni would read.
Yes, sir. The omniscient has been described as the very root of dharma. One who knows the omniscient Lord in terms of substance, attribute, and modification also knows his soul. Acharya Kunkun writes in exceedingly clear terms. The Jeev who knows the Arhant, that is, the omniscient Lord, in terms of substance, attribute, and modification, also knows his self, his own self, and his delusion is certainly destroyed. This verse outlines the means to conquer delusion. A point that especially deserves attention here is that primarily it is said that one who knows the self, the soul, has his delusion or false belief destroyed. But alongside, it is also stated that one who knows the Aryan Bhagwan in terms of substance, attribute, and modification is the one who truly knows his own self. In this way, the destruction of false belief is made conditional upon the knowledge of the Arihant Bhagwan, not merely knowing the Arihant, but knowing him specifically in terms of substance, attribute, and modification. The substance and attribute of one's own soul and that of Arihant Bhagwan are equally pure. However, there is a difference in the present modification. One's own modification is minimally developed and impure, whereas his is fully developed and pure. From this, it is clear that Acharya Dev has instructed us to realize completeness and purity. In this way, he has deemed the knowledge of perfect passionlessness, vitragta, and omniscience essential for the destruction of delusion. This is precisely why, along with self-realization or Atmanuputi, the right recognition of the true Dev, Guru, and Shastra is also necessary for the attainment of right belief. When omniscience is our goal, our object of attainment, our ideal, and all our effort is directed towards its realization, then how can the path to its attainment even begin without first understanding its true nature? The very foundation of Jain philosophy, omniscience, has today come under threat. Some of our stone-chest religious brethren have become so entangled in delusional attachment to one's own viewpoint that they have begun to find fault even in omniscience. Acharya Samantabhadra was called Kali Kala Sarvagnya, precisely because in the age of degeneration, Kalikal, he established the authenticity of omniscience with unflinching certainty. Though he himself was not omniscient, he re-established the threatened doctrine of omniscience amidst the dominance of degenerate era, and thus earned that title. Today, the force of the age of degeneration is again on the rise. Once more, the age needs another Samantabhadra, one who can once again, with unflinching clarity and fearless conviction, establish and reaffirm the truth of omniscience. Those who seek the destruction of delusion, who yearn for self-faith, self-knowledge, and absorption in the self, Atma Linta, must, with infinite effort, decisively realize omniscience, even if it demands intense inner struggle and surrender. In the ascertainment of omniscience, the ascertainment of sequentially bound modification is inherently included. The realization of both omniscience and sequentially bound modification occurs only when one stands face to face with the knowing nature. The facing of this knowing nature is the very first step of the liberation palace, and the infinite effort to ascend it is enshrined in the reverent faith towards sequentially bound modification. In this manner, omniscience and sequentially bound modification are, in a way, mutually interlinked. The determination or true understanding of one is bound to the determination of the other. The realization of both arises only when one comes face to face with the omniscient nature of the inner self. If anyone attempts to ascertain omniscience or sequentially bound modification through an outward directed disposition, they will never succeed. The preliminary means of attaining omniscience is to understand the nature of omniscience itself. Just as Tirthankar first appears in the dreams of the mother before entering her womb, in the same manner, the omniscience that manifests in a pure jiv before its actual manifestation first becomes comprehensible to that jiv. Without understanding omniscience, it cannot be attained. Right now, even omniscience is not being understood. Then where is the question of its manifestation? Without understanding and accepting omniscience, the very arising of dharma is not possible. So then, where is the question of establishment, growth, or completion? Without faith in omniscience, true faith in Dev, Shastra, and Guru is not possible, for the very nature of the true Dev is omniscience and dispassion. The source of the Shastra, too, is the speech of the omniscient, and the Guru is a follower of the path laid down by the omniscient. Monks are called Agam Chakshu, those who see through the scriptures. The exposition of the path laid down by the omniscient is found in the Shastras. In the absence of authenticity of the Shastras, how can the nature of the Guru be clearly understood? Therefore, to understand the true nature of Dev, Shastra, and Guru, it is absolutely essential to understand the nature of omniscience. This is precisely why Tarkikat
Chudamani.
Chudamani Acharya Samantabhadra has included right faith, Samyak Shraddha, in Dev, Shastra, and Guru as part of the very nature of right belief. He writes, faith in the true Dev, Shastra, and Guru, free from the three delusions, mudita, and the eight vanities, mud, and endowed with their eightfold characteristics, is itself right belief.
Stop. So this is the end of 29 module. Okay. So omniscience and sequentially bound modification both are mutually interlinked. Okay. If you determine one of the doctrines, the other automatically you are able to understand, and similar is the case in other case also. Okay. So while you believe in omniscience, you also have true faith in Dev Shastra Guru, because Dev is only omniscience, and the Shastras are also have come from the sermons of the omniscience. Okay, and Guru is the one who is following the path laid down by the omniscient. So it's all interconnected. Monks are called Agam Chakshu. Agam Chakshu means those who see through the scriptures. Okay. So they see everything from the perspective of what is being written in the scriptures, and what is being written in the scriptures has come from the omniscient. Okay. So whatever we have in terms of knowledge, in terms of scriptures, in terms of anything you say, everything has come from the omniscient. Who said that there are only 6 substances in the universe? Omniscience. Who said the nature of a substance, attributes, and modification? Omniscient. Who has said about the 7 fundamentals? Omniscient. Who has said about the right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct? Omniscience. So everything that we have in scriptures have all come from the omniscient. So we cannot prove any of the doctrines of Jainism without the help of omniscient. Okay, and omniscients are those whose sermons come out automatically. They don't have any intention of doing anything. Okay, because they are complete detached. They have manifested complete detachment, right? So now they don't have any attachment to teach you or something like that. But because of the fate or the destiny of the listeners, the omniscient sermons comes out automatically without any intention of the omniscient. So this is you can always say this is an automatic arrangement. We never knew that we will get the scriptures. 2000 years ago, Kunkund Acharya wrote this Samaisar, 415 words, and all in Talpatra. And Acharya writes it and go away. They don't carry those things with them. And the householders, Shravaks who were there at that point of time, they collected, they preserved it, and that's how we have got a full scripture. Now, just considering this idea, you will find that, oh, it's so rare, all the 415 words we are getting all together. And here the path of liberation has been depicted. And if the scriptures would not have been there, we would have known nothing, right? So all these is an automatic arrangement. Okay, so everything is happening independently of one another. Now, understanding this independent nature of each thing, understanding this independent nature of substance, attributes, and modification is only the cause, is only the reason, is only the solution to get rid of delusion. This is how we started, one verse was there. Yeah. Acharya Kunkun has written this. Pravachan Sarji, verse number 80. Jo jani arhantam davatta gunatta paryayam tim. So janadi appanam moho khallu jadi tassa layam. Okay. So the one who knows the nature of the substance, attributes, and modification, clearly his delusion certainly gets destroyed. So for knowing this substance, attributes, and modification, here Kunkund Acharya has compared it with Aryant Bhagwan's attributes, substance, attributes, and modification. Now, out of these three, substance and attributes of Aryant Bhagwan and ourselves are same. There is no change because these are eternally pure. They have never become impure. So where is the difference? So difference is there in the modification. Okay, their modification has totally evolved. They have become completely pure, but our modification has this impurity. Okay, and that impurity is there just because we don't consider our substance and attributes to be eternally pure. Okay, once you start realizing, understanding that my substance and attributes are eternally pure, okay, gradually the impurity starts going away. Gradually, okay. So a time comes when total impurity has been destroyed and total purity have been manifested, and then you become omniscient yourself. Okay. So this is, in every religion they preach you to become a follower, devotee, right? But in Jainism they teach you to become just like them, omniscient only. Okay. So this is the basic difference. So I think everything is very clear. Samanbhadra Acharya's name was also there. He is also called Kalikal Sarvagna. So Kalikal is the age of degeneration. So we are now in the fifth era. Things are declining. As you can see, 25 years ago, life was so simple. 50 years ago, life was so simple. And now, as the advent of technology is also happening, the life's complexities has also increased. Now it's very difficult to sit and 2 hours study scriptures. And these all you are doing. So hats off to you all. You are the real, you can say, you can claim this legacy, that omniscient has left for us if you study like this. So Kalikal Sarvagna, omniscient of the degeneration age. Although Samanbhadra Acharya was only a monk, okay, he was an Acharya, but he is being referred as the omniscient of the degenerate age, because in the age of degeneration, he established the authenticity of omniscience with unflinching certainty. Okay, so the omniscient and the Jainism was on the verge of extinction, but Samanbhadracharya rose from the ashes and gave it a new dimension altogether, and again it's going on. Okay, so this is Samanbhadracharya has wrote Ratnakaran Shravakachar, and there he has mentioned the importance of Dev Shastra Guru. In the first place, if you want to manifest right belief, you have to first ascertain who is the true God, true scriptures, and true monk. Okay, so that is again a responsibility of the seeker to ascertain all these things. Okay. I think more or less one paragraph I would like to highlight in this manner in between. Next, yeah, in this manner, yeah. In this manner, omniscience and sequentially bound modification are in a way mutually interlinked. The determination of one is bound to the determination of the other. So the realization of both arises only when one comes face to face with the what? Omniscient nature of the inner self. Not omniscient, huh? Our inner self is of the omniscient nature. We all are having this attribute of omniscience in us. Okay, only it gets manifested at the 13th stage, but it is there as a power within us. Okay, Sarvagnatva Shakti, We are all possessor of this nature, omniscient nature. Okay. So to know is our inherent nature. Now what you know, that right now we have got limited knowledge. Okay. But this knowledge is going to increase, and one day it's going to manifest into complete knowledge, where you are knowing all the substances, attributes and modification of the universe with all its past, present and future modification all together in one moment. So this potential which all carry, and we are not possessing this one attribute only, we are a possessor of infinite attributes like that. Now just imagine who you are. You are Jia or Himali, or you are God, omniscient nature God. Okay. So both arises, the determination of the realization of both, that is omniscience and sequentially bound modification, arises only when one comes face to face with the omniscient nature of the inner self. Okay. So coming face to face to the inner self is what creates everything in terms of path of liberation. Without coming face to face of the inner self, nothing is going to manifest. Okay. If anyone attempts to ascertain omniscience or sequentially bound modification through an outward directed disposition, they will never succeed, because everything happens only with an inward directed effort. Okay. So when you all our studies, all our knowledge, all our doctrines is all for one purpose, that your active consciousness, which has been engaged since time immemorial in the external factors, external substances, just turn them inward towards the self, and that is where everything happens. Okay. So this is our only thing to be done, intentionally. Rest everything will fall into places on its own. Okay. The preliminary means of attaining omniscience is to understand the nature of omniscience itself. Okay. Just as a Tirthankar first appears in the dreams of the mother before entering her womb. Okay. 6 months ago, he gets this in dream. He gets dream about this, that which indicates that soul of the category of Tirthankar is going to come in her womb. Okay. In the same manner, the omniscience that manifests in a particular jiv before its actual manifestation first becomes comprehensible to that jiv. Without understanding omniscience, it cannot be attained. So all these were very good, and we move on to the next one, 30th one. It's again related to omniscience only. Yeah.
I have a question. When you said Keval Gyan means the knowledge of all the dravyas and their gun, right? Yesterday I was reading a small paragraph from Yog Sar, and I think I may have misunderstood, because there it felt like Keval Gyan means that you understand the true nature of your soul. So your soul is a dravya, and you understand all the attributes of your soul. So that is Keval Gyan, but you don't need to understand the attributes of other dravyas. So did I misunderstand yesterday?
So like one who manifests omniscience, their active consciousness is oriented towards the self, right? Because beyond seventh spiritual stage, everyone is in Shuddhopyog, pure manifestation only, right? So at that point of time, the focus is on the self. But having said that, the knowledge, the inherent nature of the knowledge is to know the self and the non-self. Okay. So in that par prakashak, they are knowing the loka lok as a part of par prakashak. But having said that, their active consciousness is engaged in the self.
Yes.
Okay. So as a part of their par prakashak, they know the whole lokalok, like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So they don't
But
go purposely to see the lokalok, you know. It automatically reflects in their knowledge as a part of its nature. Inherent nature of knowledge is to know swapar prakashak, you know. Knowledge is swapar prakashak. It also knows the self and the non-self.
no.
So he does not have to make any extra effort to know the non-self. It automatically reflects on its own.
On.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
we will now begin the 30th module, and the heading of the 30th module is again determination of omniscience is a must, is compulsory, indispensable. Okay. So that is the 30th module. Now, Jia, you are good to read? Yeah, read.
Yes, sir.
Some people say
The screen share.
you don't have the. I have
One
couriered you,
second, I'm just resharing it. क्या हो गया user में?
or I will make a course to Soumya if you are busy.
No, sir, I'm not busy. Something has come up on the screen and it's some error. So I called. I am not very. Okay.
Let Soumya share. You do on your you sort out your problem, okay? Soumya, you share. So I've couriered you the textbook. You have not received it?
I have it. I have it.
Okay.
तो मेरा लैपटॉप पर फालतू नहीं सही हर टाइम हमारी कोई विंडो आ भी जाए सर
Yeah, page number, I think
तो 39
39. Okay.
No.
Yeah, 39, right. Yes. Some
Guys,
people say,
about that, right?
yeah, some people say.
Yeah, okay. Some people say, why do some people say, why do you entangle sequentially bound modification with the omniscient one? Why don't you just prove it directly from the nature of reality itself? Rather, we are not entangling them. It is already entangled. Because faith in omniscience is not possible without faith in sequentially bound modification, and faith in sequentially bound modification is not possible without faith in omniscience. Although sequentially bound modification can be established even without taking recourse to omniscience, and we have indeed demonstrated it extensively based on the intrinsic nature of reality, still, why is there insistence on separating it from omniscience? One reason to establish sequentially bound modification on the basis of omniscience is that omniscience is universally accepted in Jain philosophy. No one disputes it. Therefore, it is a solid foundation for establishing sequentially bound modification. Moreover, for those who, even from the outside, have a little faith in omniscience, it becomes much easier for them to understand sequentially bound on the basis of omniscience. The second point is that the subject of sequentially bound modification is extremely subtle. Without the support of omniscience, it is, if not impossible, certainly difficult to make it acceptable to those of ordinary intellect. I ask you this, without the basis of omniscience and the scripture are as per what is said by the omniscient. Try explaining 1 lakh yojana uh, high Mount Sumeru. In the end, you will have to say that it is written in the scriptures, and the scriptures are as per the omniscient. If without them you cannot establish even such a gross entity as Mount Sumeru, then why do you ask us to abandon reliance on them in explaining a subject as subtle as sequentially bound modification? Do you not have faith in the omniscience and the scriptures are as per what is said by the omniscient? If you do, then why speak in such a manner? Why this obstinacy to discard the foundation of omniscience? It appears that you yourself do not have complete trust in omniscience, or that the nature of omniscience is not fully clear to you, and you also do not have the courage to outright deny the existence of omniscience. Therefore, under one pretext or another, you wish to evade this most valid foundation. If the nature of omniscience were clear in your view, And if you also had faith in it, then sequentially bound modification would also be naturally accepted. In that case, there would be no need to raise the question, why do you rely on omniscience to establish sequentially bound modification? Very well, let us set aside the matter of sequentially bound modification for a moment. Even then, the determination of omniscience must be done, for without it, the nature of Dev Shastra Guru cannot be clearly understood. Have those who raise slogans about the protection of Dev Shastra Guru ever taken the effort to truly reflect upon the real nature of Dev Shastra Guru? Can the nature of Dev Shastra Guru be understood or explained without understanding omniscience? Must the protectors of scriptures also be reminded that the foremost condition of the scriptures is that their origin is the omniscient, and that these scriptures are replete with countless proclamations about definite future events? Can even a single topic of Karnanu Yoga be established or explained without the basis of scriptures spoken by the omniscient? Will you be able to establish the existence of the eight karmas, their bondage, fruition, premature fruition, transformation of nature, increase or extent of duration, reduction of duration, or agitation without the authority of the scriptures spoken by the omniscient? In the same manner, what basis will you propose for establishing the modifications resulting from Adha Karna, slow paced progression, Apurva Karna, unprecedented acceleration, and Anivrat Karna, irreversible and extremely swift progression culminating in right belief?
Stop. So you see, omniscient, why means this, the author is talking about the ignorant people who raises question on the validity of the omniscience. Okay. So for them, he is giving these arguments. Okay. So omniscient and the sequentially bound modification are already entangled, because faith in one is not possible without the faith in other, and vice versa. Okay. Although they although sequentially bound modification can be established even without taking recourse in omniscience, and we have indeed demonstrated it extensively based on the intrinsic nature of reality. So what they are referring to, can anyone have any idea? And we have indeed demonstrated it extensively based on the intrinsic nature of reality. What we are referring to now here, we have already covered this.
Sir, is it Nishchay and Vyavahar?
No,
I think it's the nature of looking inwards.
no. I want a particular references that we have already done in the class in a very detailed manner, and what they are referring, that we have demonstrated it. We have proved the principle of sequentially bound modification based on some doctrine, some verse that we discussed, the verse number 99 of Pravachan Sar.
99 of Pravachan Sar, sir.
Yes, this is what they are mentioning. You can see module number, I think 13, 12 or 13. Okay. So there also this has been explained without the help of omniscience. But then the next question comes, who has said about this, who has explained this nature of substance, attributes and modification? Again, we come back to the omniscience. So directly or indirectly, whatever we say in terms of anything in Jainism, it's all based on the omniscience. Okay. And that's why we have been able to prove everything. We have been able to realize what has been said, because it is all truth. Okay. If the truth was not there, if it was somewhat deviated, or some controversies, some contradictions would have been there, we would not have been possible. It would have been possible. So whatever omniscience says is all very perfect, okay? Because they don't have any intention to say. Whatever has been said is just because of their spatial quality, that omniscience that they have manifested, and they are looking things in that way. and whatever they are looking at, that is only coming out of their sermons. Okay. So everything in Jainism is based on omniscience. We cannot deny it. Okay. Directly or indirectly, we have to take the support of omniscience. Otherwise, you keep on asking questions. Why? There would not be any end. Okay. So here it is that at some point of time, we have to believe in this. And as a Jain, maybe we are Svetambar, Digambar, Terapanthi, what Panthi, you don't. We are all Jains at one level. We are all one family. Okay. We are all followers of Bhagwan Mahavir. So somewhere or other time, we have faith in omniscience. And when you have faith in omniscience, this sequentially bound modification could easily be understood. Okay. So one was that. The second point is, this is very extremely subtle. Each modification, we cannot track it in real time. One moment of modification is very, very subtle. It is only known by the omniscience. And just omniscience has told us, so we are believing it. Okay. So this is this principle of sequentially bound modification. It is based on the omniscience, so it is extremely subtle. Without the support of omniscience, if not impossible, certainly difficult to make it acceptable to those of ordinary intellect. Okay. So these two are reasons. Then the writer goes on to say that forget about the soul. Even as big as 1 lakh yojan. 1 yojan is 12.96 kilometer. Okay. So 1 lakh yojan high. It is the height of the Mount Sumeru. Okay. Such a big entity could not be explained without the help of omniscience. Now, if a scientist asks you, who said that it is 1 lakh yojan? That's so much height. 1 lakh yojan. So 1 yojan is 12.96 kilometer, approximately 13 kilometer. Okay. So 13 kilometer into 1 lakh. Okay. So again, it's maybe such a long height. Who is going to prove? So it is all based on omniscience. Somewhere down the line, we have to take the support of omniscient to explain whatever has been explained in terms of Jainism through the scriptures. So omniscience, determination of omniscience must be done, for without it, nothing can be proved. Even Dev Shastra Guru is based on omniscient. Okay. So this is something that is very interconnected, intertwined with the principle of sequentially bound modification. All the explanation in Karnan Yoga, okay, it cannot be proved or established without the support of the omniscience, because these are very subtle explanation. The whole karmic theory, karmas are so subtle that we cannot see it through our eyes. Although it is a matter substance, it can become a subject of our eyes, but it is again so subtle that our sensory knowledge cannot comprehend it. Okay. So everywhere, omniscient is the entity that we look at to prove things. Okay. In the same manner, what basis will you propose for establishing the modification resulting from other current? Now these three, when you manifest, these three are the special kind of manifestation or disposition that automatically comes before 6 types of things. Okay. Now these 6 types of things would be explained to you in the 6th Sem. Okay. So now I'm giving you one example. Before self-realization, also these 3 kind of disposition manifest. Okay. Before self-realization. So one is other current, slow paced progression. Then the next is apurva current, unprecedented acceleration. And the third one is anivritti current, irreversible and extremely sweet progression. Now these 3 culminates in right belief. Okay. So before manifesting right belief, this will also come. So then you will say that I don't know meaning of these 3. So how would I manifest right belief? No, you need not know. Even the subhuman state, people, animals do get self-realization, they also know this name. They also don't know the name of the 7 fundamentals. Okay. So knowing name or not knowing is immaterial. What is material is your self-realization, self-experience, your feeling. Okay. We have only our feeling to just analyze, just judge, just have a, checking point is only our feeling. Okay. So this is something is a subject of realization and not a subject of discussion. Okay. So that cannot be replaced by words. Okay. So so the establishing of the modification resulting from adhakaran, apurvakaran and anivrtikaran all are based on the omniscient. So we will continue this discussion again here from brother. No, why did this question? From there we have to start. Why did this question? Okay. So who is going to read? Somya. If you are there, you read, otherwise Somya.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Why this, why did this question not arise during the study of all these topics and others like them, namely, that they ought to be established without the basis of the scriptures originating from the omniscient? Why has this new question arisen only today, brother? As it has been said that omniscient is the root of dharma. Accordingly, the protectors of dharma must indeed determine omniscient. After all, Jain philosophy is the only philosophy that speaks of every jiva becoming the supreme soul, Paramatma. It not only speaks of it, but also shows the path to becoming the supreme soul, inspires one to walk upon it, and confidently beats its chest, declaring that those who tread this path surely become the supreme soul. It is not necessary to understand the true nature of the Supreme Soul before becoming the Supreme Soul. If it is, then why this insistence on stopping the discussion of omniscience? Not only sequentially bound modification, the Acharyas have expounded all the Jina doctrines on the very basis of omniscience, in the exposition of which doctrines shall be bid farewell to the omniscient and the scriptures spoken by the omniscient. Is it not essential for becoming a supreme soul to know and experience one's own soul? In the aforesaid statement of Acharya Kundkund, it is clearly stated that one who knows the Arhat in terms of substance, attribute, and modification knows one's own soul, and one who knows the soul destroys delusion. The aforesaid statement gives a clear directive that in order to destroy delusion, it is necessary to know one's own soul, and that prior to knowing one's own soul, it is necessary to know the Arhat, omniscient. Will the protection of Dev Shah's Guru be accomplished without even knowing their true nature? In their true nature, they are ever secure. They have no need of our protection. If we are to protect ourselves, then we must understand their true nature. In this alone lies the protection of ourselves and of our dharma. Those who speak of protecting dharma should also give at least some attention in this direction. Further on, in the 82nd words of that very Pravachanasar, Acharya Kundkund proclaims, all the Arhat Bhagavanas have, by that very method, destroyed the karmas and attained liberation, and have given the same teaching to other souls for becoming supreme souls. That is, they have shown the very same path, obeisance to such arhantas. By that very method, that is, the method described in verse 80-81, they themselves attained liberation and also gave the same teaching. In verses 80-81, it is stated that one who knows the Arhat Bhagwan in terms of substance, attribute, and modification knows one's own soul and destroys his delusion. Therefore, abandoning attachment and aversion, one attains the pure soul, that is, attains complete dispassionateness and omniscience. This indeed, this indeed is the method for attaining omniscience, by which all arhats have attained omniscience and have given the teaching for its attainment. In the commentary of Pravachansar, verse 82 itself, Acharya Amrit Chandra has gone so far as to state that my alternative method of attaining omniscience is impossible. At the end, Acharya Amrit Chandra says, "Cease the excessive prattle, my conviction has become settled." And in the introduction, Utthanika, on verse 82 itself, he says, "This alone is the supreme path to liberation experienced and taught by the enlightened ones. In this way, one settles one's conviction. O brother, one whose conviction is unsettled."
Stop. Sorry, stop. This is the end of 31 module, okay? End of 31 module. Sorry, 30th module. 30th module we are reading, now 31 will start. So this is the end of 30th module. And in this particular module, the discussion on omniscience, the necessity to believe in omniscience continues further. And so omniscient is the root of all dharma, and you must know the nature of omniscient first to realize anything further in the path of liberation. Okay. So our omniscience have given us the path of liberation, and they just not have shown us the path of omniscience. They have also inspires us to walk upon it, and also they give us an assurance that those who walk on this path, they become the supreme soul. Okay. It is not necessary to understand the true nature of the supreme soul before becoming the supreme soul. Of course, it is necessary. Okay. If it is, then why this insistence on topping the discussion of omniscience? Okay. So some people have this ignorant people, of course, they are not ready to accept the nature of omniscience. For them, these are all arguments are there, but it is not valid for us because we all believe in omniscience. Okay. Not only sequentially bound modification, the Acharyas have expounded all the Jaina doctrines on the very basis of omniscience. Okay. So in the exposition of which doctrines shall we bid farewell to the omniscient and the scriptures spoken by the omniscient. So our everything, whatever we have in terms of knowledge, have all come from omniscience. That is very well established. Further, in the 82nd verse, 82 verse of the Pravachan, okay. So in the 80, Acharya told that one who knows Aryant Bhagwan in terms of substance, attributes and modification, knows his own substance, attributes and modification, and one who knows his own substance, attributes and modification very clearly, his delusion disappears. Okay. Now, in 81, Kunkund Acharya in the verse number 81 shows that in 80, he shows us the method to get rid of belief deluding karma. Okay, darshan moh ka abhav kaise ho. And in 82 verse number, he shows us the path how to get rid of conduct deluding karma, charitra monia karma. Okay, 80, 81. Now 82. In 82, he says that all the Aryant Bhagwan have, by that very method, okay, which method? By knowing substance, attributes and modification, destroyed the karmas and attained liberation, and have given the same teaching to other souls for becoming supreme souls. That is, they have shown the very same path. Obeisance to such Aryantas. Namaskar. Okay. Namaskar to such Aryantas. Because if they would not have shown us this shortcut path, we would have been wandering. Someone says that do certain fasting and you will get liberated. Someone says do certain pujas and you will get liberated. Someone says do this tapa and you will get liberated. So there are so many misconceptions about the path of liberation. And here Aryan Bhagwan Kunkunda Acharya Dev in verse number 80 of Samaisar says that you know Aryan Bhagwan through substance, attributes and modification, and compare it with our substance, attributes and modification, and you will realize that we both are same. Okay. And if you are able to elevate yourself to the stature of an Aryant, then only you will be able to get rid of delusion. Because delusion is there because we don't consider ourselves equal to that Supreme Soul. So when you consider yourself to be equal to that Supreme Soul, when you consider your soul to be equal to the liberated soul, that is the time you will be able to get rid of the delusion. Okay. So very, very, I can say, genuine analogy that Kunkund Acharya Dev has stated in verse number 80 by comparing the substance, attributes and modification of the Aryant and ours. Okay. In this way, he said, you are also same. You are of the same quality, same thing. There is a difference in the modification, but the difference will go away when you align with the belief that your substance and attributes are equal to the Aryant's substance and attributes. This much if you are able to accept, then your impurities in the modification will start going away. And one day you will also become an omniscience. Now, the important part. By that very method, that is the method described in verse 80 and 81. Okay. It is written 82, but you have to write it as 81. Correct it. Okay. 80, 81, they themselves attained liberation and also gave the same teaching. In verses 80, 81, it is stated that one who knows the Aryant Bhagwan in terms of substance, attributes and modification knows one's own soul and destroys his delusion. Thereafter, abandoning attachment and aversion, one attains the pure soul. That is, it attains complete dispassionateness, complete passionlessness, complete knowledge and omniscience. Okay. This indeed is the method for attaining omniscience by which all arhats have attained omniscience and have given the teaching for its attainment. In the commentary of Pravachan verse number 82 itself, Acharya Amrit Chandra has gone so far to state that any alternative method of attaining omniscience is impossible. Impossible means there is a certainty that Acharya Kunkund Dev is giving us, that there cannot be any alternative method. You have to know the substance, attributes and modification. Okay. So you all must visit again this chapter of substance, attributes and modification, which I taught you in Bal Bodh. Okay. I think we discuss it for 4 hours. We should revisit that, and it's so important, and that was the only time we studied about it. Then it does anywhere. Okay. So now this is a very important topic. You have to understand the nature of substance, attributes and modification very clearly to get rid of delusion. There is no alternative method. This is the only method. And by attaining self-realization, you are into the path of liberation, and gradually you again connect to that only. Okay. And when you connect in your real life to substance, attributes and modification, you will realize that at the substance and attribute levels, nothing is changing. Okay. It's the same. It's the same which was when we were in one sense. There also it doesn't change. Both are unchangeable. Right. So we are very relaxed, by understanding this unchangeable nature of substance and attributes. Now comes the modification. Modification changes every moment. Okay. But again, its sequence is unchangeable. Right. So here also you are free. You don't have any responsibility to do anything over there. Not in yourself, not in others, because everything is independent. The substance is independent, the attributes are independent, the modifications are independent. Now, where is the question of doership coming up? You tell me. Are you all okay with this doctrine? that there is no scope of doership of anywhere, whether in the non-self substances or in ourself also. Okay, there is no doership, right? So if you are able to understand, you will feel relaxed, because all the anxiety, all the perturbedness is there just because we become a doer. We cannot do and we become a doer. That is the problem. Okay, so you accept that you are not a doer, you are only an observer, you are only a knower, and you are fine, you are relaxed, you are enjoying that eternal bliss. Okay, we ourselves only stop that eternal bliss, we ourselves only stop that flow of eternal bliss by becoming a doer. Okay, and it's not only the doership, the other three things are also there. What other three things can anyone say?
So enjoyership,
Yes.
mamatva,
Mind.
kartutva,
Oneness and minus.
mamatva, kartutva, yeah.
Oneness, minus, doership, enjoyership. Okay. So all four are together, but we are discussing doership more often because it's very deep rooted, you know. How many times in a day do you remember that this is my house, this is I am myself? Never. But this doership, every now and then we have this doership things coming in my mind, that I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have not done this, this is pending, this is not, this is that. Every time you see, we are all connected to doership syndrome, you know. And the reality is that we cannot do as a soul, okay, as a soul. So this is very settled, okay. Now the final line, this is coming up very nice line. At the end, Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev says, "Cease the excessive prattle." I think good word would be stop. Stop the excessive prattle. What is this prattle? Foolish talk, unnecessary talks, you know. So my conviction has become settled. My conviction means my intellect. मेरी बुद्धि मति मेरी मति व्यवस्थित हो गई. Okay. In Hindi, word is like this. अधिक प्रलाप से बस हो. This is Acharya's word. Huh? Acharya Amrit Chandra writes, अधिक प्रलाप से बस हो, मेरी मति व्यवस्थित हो गई. मेरी मति means my intellect, my buddhi has now become settled. Okay. So stop the excessive prattle. Pralap is excessive prattle. Okay. My conviction has become settled. So now you know the independent nature of substance, attributes, and modification. So your conviction has become settled. You are now realizing the independent nature of thing. You are now realizing that everything is happening automatically. Even my mind, speech, and body activities are independently happening. Just as you have programmed a robot and it functions certain functions. Similarly, our body is programmed for this life. Okay. We have people coming in our contact as some relations and then going away, and everything is happening automatically. And as a soul entity, we are just a knower and not a doer. Okay. So here settles the wrong belief. Okay. And in the introduction on verse 82 itself, he says, this alone is the supreme path to liberation, experienced and taught by the enlightened ones. In this way, one settles one's conviction. Okay. Again, that example of birds in a ship, you know, the ship started sailing and the ship was such a big one, so birds were playing around there. And when it went very deep and they thought of coming to the shore, but they could not see the shore. Their eyesight is not that strong, you know. So whatever is their eyesight, they were looking at the shore, but they could not see it. So they went to a certain level and then they come back. Then again they went and come back, and now they have settled that no, we cannot reach the shore, so we have to spend life here only. Okay. So that's how it gets settled. So similarly, we also have this wrong perception, the wrong belief of doership. And when you experiment and realize that no, there is no way that I can do anything, you also get settled. And that's why we are relaxed. There's so much happening outside, but we are cool and composed because we know everything is independent. Nobody is a doer of anything. Whatever is coming in my life is because of my past karmas. Okay. I'm not considering anyone responsible for that because I know no one can do anything to me. Okay. It is just the past connections that is coming into fruition, the past karmas that is coming into fruition. So we are very well settled. Okay.
Sir,
Now,
could you kindly
yeah.
give this Adik Pralap say the
बस
phrase?
हो, हाँ, अधिक प्रलाप से बस हो वो, बस हो
Acha.
हो
And one more,
ओ,
हाँ,
मेरी
one more
मति
thing, sir.
मेरी मति व्यवस्थित हो गई है. By understanding the nature of substance attributes and modification, his mind has now settled. His conviction has settled that there could not be anything done in substance attribute and there could not be anything to be done in terms of modification. So we are all free of any doership. Okay.
Sir,
Now
the 31st module, what is the heading?
Heading of the 31 module is coming up. It is unsettled mind and self-made arrangement. Okay. So what
And
we
the next one, sir.
Huh?
We are actually in the 31st module.
No,
Okay.
we have completed 30th module and the heading of the 30 module was determination of omniscience is a must. Okay, that was the heading of 30. Now the 31st heading is unsettled mind and self-made arrangement. Okay, so self-made arrangement is an universal truth and unsettled mind is the wrong wisdom that we have. Okay, now how we compare between two and come to the conclusion that self-made arrangement is perfect. Okay, this conclusion if we have, then there would not be any kind of doubts, apprehensions about anything. You will absolutely feel relaxed. Okay. So this is the 31 module. Oh brother, from there it begins. Okay. And Pratibhaji, you read. Then Maltiji would read.
Okay. Oh, brother, one whose conviction is unsettled perceives the world as unsettled, just as a person sitting in moving train sees the ground as moving, but when he reflects with discernment, it becomes evident that the ground is stationary and it is he himself who is moving. In the same way, to the one with unsettled conviction, the world appears unsettled. If one reflects with seriousness, one realizes that the world does not need to be set in order. It is already in order. It is my own conviction that needs to be set in order. But these people of unsettled conviction remains entangled in notions of setting the world in order. The more they strive to untangle, the more entangled they become. This is because their attention is not where the disorder actually lies and where everything is already perfectly in order, where no alteration whatsoever is possible. They are restlessly obsessed with becoming its organizer, and they will continue thus until they align their conviction with the true nature of reality. There is also this point that the understanding of beings afflicted with the ego of doership can never truly be set in order. For how can the world, intoxicated with the obsession of becoming its organizer, ever accept that the world is already orderly in itself? If they were to accept that the world is orderly in itself, then of whom would they remain the organizers? For them to retain the position of organizers, It is necessary that the world be disorderly, otherwise, whose order would they maintain and what would they organize? This is precisely why an inherently orderly order can never be grasped by the understanding of such organizers, for it for it wounds their ego and deprives them of the role of being organizers. The organizer needs a disordered world whose arrangement he can set right and thereby continue to remain an organizer with pride. This is precisely why the assured self regulating order of the world does not appeal to him and his mind does not become orderly. Without the faith and conviction of omniscience and sequentially bound modification, the mind can never truly be settled. No matter how honest an organizer may be, arrangement made by an organizer can never be perfectly ordered, correct, and just only a self regulating arrangement is perfectly ordered, correct, and just. Thanks. There is There is a weighing machine in which, when a 10 paise coin is inserted, it tells you your correct weight. For every person who checks their weight on that machine, a 10 paise coin will certainly go into its belly. It is not possible for someone to find out their weight without inserting a coin, even if he is a owner of that machine. If he wants to know his weight, he too must insert a coin into it. However, you would be hard pressed to find, even with the help of a lamp, a person trustworthy enough to be put in charge of that weighing machine and told, collect 10 paisa from everyone who uses it. Such a person would weigh himself without paying, would weigh his own children and not deposit the money. It is simply not possible that the owner receives the full amount for every person weighed on that machine. Therefore, a self operating automatic order alone is proper and correct, but the organizer will not accept it, for by it he becomes redundant, his sense of doership is taken away, and his ego is shattered. This is precisely why his mind cannot be settled.
Stop,
In an
stop,
orderly
stop,
arrangement,
stop. So this is, we are in the middle of the 31st module, and here again, unsettled mind. Why the mind is unsettled, because they are not ready to accept the worldly order, that everything in the world is happening in perfect order. This one line, one line can relax you. Everything in this world is happening in perfect order. There is no need to interfere, change anything. Everything is happening perfect. Okay. So the one who has this ego of doing things, he cannot accept this principle, right? And if he's not accepting this principle, then his questions, his doubts, his apprehensions will continue. Okay. Unless and until you accept this, your doership will not go away. Okay. So these people are restlessly obsessed with becoming organizer, the manager of this universe. Okay. And they cannot do anything. That is their true nature. Okay. By nature, by default, we cannot do anything. And they are becoming the doer. Okay. And that is the problem. Okay. So because of that, they are suffering. They are experiencing sorrows in the four states of existence, and this transmigration is going on and on and on, and we have been also a part of that scheme. Okay. Now, understanding this, what will change? Understanding this will settle our mind that there is no doership anywhere. Okay. And Once we are able to accept these and make a decision on this, then that itself will bring happiness in our life. Okay, that itself will manifest into eternal bliss. Okay, so this ignorant organizer, they need a disordered world. And why they need a disordered world? Because they want to do the arrangements. Okay, whereas a person who has understanding of this sequentially bound modification, who has understanding of this omniscience, his mind is settled. Okay, he is not an unsettled mind because he is accepting the self-made arrangements. Example given in the present context, very valid context, that it's very hardly impossible to find a person who can be trustworthy enough and honest enough. Okay, so a weighing machine where you need to put a coin. Earlier it was 10 paisa when this article was written. Nowadays I don't know, maybe 5 rupees, I don't know. For many years we have not done that weight outside. So maybe let's consider the 1 rupee coin. Okay, so unless and until we put the coin, we don't get the weight. Okay, so that's a machine, and whoever weighs his weight, they will have to put the coin. So at the end of the day, the operator of that machine knows that he will get perfectly whatever work has been done through the machine. Okay, so we'll get total revenues. But if it's a man-made arrangement, then that man will weigh himself and not put the money in the box. Then if some relatives of his comes, then also he will do the same way. If friends comes, he will also do the same way. So you cannot have the total revenue that is you supposed to get. Okay, so it is simply not possible that the owner receives the full amount for every person weighed on that machine. Therefore, a self-operating automatic order alone is proper and correct, but the organizers will not accept it, for by it he becomes redundant. His sense of doership is taken away and his ego of doership is shattered. This is precisely why his mind cannot be settled. So from here only we have to read and finish. So Maltiji, you read the rest of the portion. In an
Yes, sir.
orderly management, in an
In an
orderly
order,
Hmm.
in an orderly arrangement, dishonesty is not possible.
Hmm.
This is precisely why those who, by disrupting the regular sequence, that is the orderly arrangement, harbor the intent to accomplish a task before its appointed time, do not really accept an orderly arrangement. Is there anything today that cannot be achieved with money? Is there anything that cannot be obtained with money? Money is such a power before which no rule can prevail. In its presence, all arrangements are useless. By the strength of money, I can do whatever I wish. All arrangements can be altered with money. For a dishonest world intoxicated with such conceit, or with any similar conceit, it is not impossible. Then certainly, if it is not impossible, then certainly difficult for its mindset to become settled. For such a mind, to accept an orderly arrangement that is sequentially bound modification is not easy. But, brother, in this human birth, the only task truly worth doing is that we bring our conviction in order. Though the determination of omniscience and the determination of sequentially bound modification, the mind becomes orderly, the ego of doership melts away, the natural effort of being a knower seer awakens, the intellect bent on altering the other is extinguished. Consequently, the related restlessness and agitation also vanishes, and along with the manifestation of suprasensory bliss, there is the experience of infinite peace. Though through the determination of omniscience and the conviction of sequentially bound modification, at least the many benefits are obtained immediately. Thereafter, when that same soul, taking support of itself, continues to increase in passionless modification, then a time also comes when it itself attains complete passionlessness and omniscience. This is the very path from soul to becoming supreme soul. Therefore, those brethren aspiring for liberation should, by any means possible, and with whatever effort they can muster, certainly strive to understand the true nature of omniscience. The moment the true nature of omniscience is grasped, sequentially bound modification will be understood of its own accord. For it, no separate effort will be required. But bear in mind, omniscience is not something that can be understood through an outward facing disposition, nor can omniscience be understood even through a belief fixed upon the modification of omniscience. It is understood through the support of the omniscient natured soul. For understanding the true nature of omniscience, an inward directed effort is essential. This is the sole means for understanding sequentially bound modification as well. May all beings, understanding the true nature of sequentially bound modification and omniscience, become oriented towards their own nature, attain infinite peace and transcendental bliss, and in due course, at the appropriate time, attain omniscience and become supremely blissful with this sentiment. With this sentiment, I take leave.
So the middle paragraph, which was very important, where all the benefits of understanding this principle of sequentially bound modification has been enumerated. The middle paragraph, through the determination, okay, you write down, you note down, through the determination of omniscience and the determination of sequentially bound modification, first benefit, the mind becomes orderly. Okay, मति व्यवस्थित हो जाती है. The mind becomes orderly. Second, the ego of doership melts away. कर्तृत्व का अहंकार गल जाता है. Okay, the ego of doership melts away. Third point, the natural effort of being a knower seer awakens. Okay, सहज ज्ञाता दृष्टापने का पुरुषार्थ जागृत होता है. Number 4, the intellect bent on altering the other is extinguished. पर में फेरफार करने की बुद्धि समाप्त हो जाती है. Consequently, the related restlessness and agitation also vanishes, and along with the manifestation of suprasensory bliss, there is the experience of infinite peace. Okay, so from consequently is the fifth point. So these are the 5 benefits of understanding the sequentially bound modification. Okay, so you are relaxed all the time, and this is something we are going to enjoy every moment. One time hard work, one time understanding, you enjoy it for the rest of life. Now you tell me, not only this life but the next life also, until you get liberated, you will be all the time enjoying wherever you go. Okay, so Jia, you just imagine what we do in terms of earning our livelihood in the worldly existence. Okay, it only benefits up to this birth. Now this is something you are understanding and you are going to enjoy until you get liberated. Ultimately, we are going to get liberated, because this transmigration, we have been doing it since eternal, no beginning. Okay, and we have never been satisfied. That's why we are here. We were also there when Rishabh Dev was there. You were there or not, Jia? How can you say it?
Because
Do you
this,
remember your past life?
no.
So,
But the soul is Anadi Anand, that's why.
because the soul is eternal. So we were all there when Adinath Bhagwan was there. We were all there when Bhagwan Mahavir was there. And they all followed this path and got liberated. And we are still here. Okay. So it should be a shame on us. Now is our time to understand this and get into the path of liberation and get liberated. Okay. So this should only be the outcome of understanding this principle, that no, we are not going to settle for anything less. We don't want any post. We don't want any fame. We don't want any power. We don't want money in exchange of this. We want only liberation, nothing less, nothing more. Okay. So with this kind of conviction and effort, you will easily achieve it, because we have got all the means to manifest that. Okay. Never in our life we have got this means. We never in our life we have come so far. Okay. So this is the farthest, and the way we are understanding it in every week per week last 2 years consistently. Okay. That is also again a testimony that we are destined to get liberated. Okay. Otherwise, nobody would get into this in the first place. Okay. And not somebody like Jia, at this young age. So you are absolutely very lucky. Okay. So this is the end of our article on Krambat Paryay. Now there are two sections of question answers. One is set up by Dr. Bharilji itself, and the next one set up is by Kanji Swamiji's interview. That also has been taken by Dr. Bharilji. There is a video available of that interview. Video recording of interview is available. Soumya, you will share it. I think you will find in vitragvani.com. Okay. So from vitragvani.com, Jia, you will do it.
Yeah, I can try to find it, sir.
So you find out from vitragvani.com the interview by Dr. Bharilji on Krambat Paryay. Okay. And share it in the group so everyone would see it. If I find it in another group also, I will share it, because I have given this homework last Thursday to another group also. So if they find it, they will share it, and you find it, you will share it. Otherwise, I will share it for sure. Okay. So let's do it that. So now this part is over, but there are two more questions that I want to discuss. So there are many question answers. All these are your homework. Okay. Just read those question answers from here to the last. All question answers is homework for you. Only two things we are going to discuss here, which is not a part of the article. Okay. So one is about question number 4, 5, 6, page number 50. Page number 50, question number 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this principle of sequentially bound modification is operated on the basis of powers that all soul possesses. Now, what are these power? Okay. So there are 6 powers. Chhe Shakti. Okay. The name of these 6 Shaktis are given, and the description on each is given very briefly. Okay. So we will read this. Okay. Question number 4, 5, 6. Rekha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So you read 4, 5, 6.
Okay, sir. Just
3,
4 is a
3 also.
continuation.
So
3
3
also.
also.
4
3
is a
also. Yeah.
continuation of. Question number 3. Which are these infinite powers through which all this occurs? Can that which is infinite be enumerated? Question number 4. Still, tell us at least some of them. Answer. Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Bhav Abhav Shakti, Abhav Bhav Shakti, Bhav Bhav Shakti, and Abhav Bhav Shakti, and so on. Question number 5. What is the role of these powers in the origination and cessation of modifications? Please explain briefly. In each substance, there is a power by virtue of which the substance is endowed with its present state. That is, it necessarily has a definite state. This is called Bhav Shakti. In each substance, there is also a power by virtue of which no state other than the present exists. This power is called Abhav Shakti. Through the operation of these two powers, each substance has at every samay only its definite modification and no other. Question number 6. Who brings the modification at its own time and who removes it after one samay? Who regulates that the modification arises at its own time and departs in the next samay? If the modification does not come at its own time, then who will bring it? And if it does not depart even after one samay, then who will remove it? In such a situation, either the substance will become devoid of modification or there will be two modifications in one samay. Answer. Do not concern yourself over this. Such a thing will never occur because in every substance there is also a power by which the present modification will, as a rule, cease to exist in the succeeding samay. That power is called Bhava Bhav Shakti. And there is another power by which the modification destined to arise in the next samay will, as a rule, certainly arise. This power is called Abhav Bhav Shakti. The modification that is destined to occur at a given time will, as a rule, certainly occur at that time. there is also such a power in every substance known as Bhava Bhav Shakti. And there is yet another power by which the modification that is not destined to occur at a given time will, as a rule, certainly not occur. That power is called Abhav Bhav Shakti. Abhav Shakti. The nature of these six powers firmly establishes that whatever modification of whichever substance is to occur at whatever time, in whatever manner, in accordance with its power, in accordance with its own principal cause, it will of itself, as a rule, occur at precisely at that time and in precisely that manner, without the slightest dependence on any other. The detailed discourses by Sri Kanji Swami on the 47 powers mentioned in the appendix at the end of the Atmakyati, Atmakyati Tika, authored by Acharya Amrit Chandra on the renowned Parmagam Samayasar of most eminent Digambara Acharya Kundakunda, have been published in Hindi under the title Atma Prasiddhi and in Gujarati under the title Atma Vaibhav. Those earnest seekers with a particular interest should satisfy their curiosity from there. Here, there is neither the scope nor would it be appropriate to enter into a detailed discussion of them.
So this 47 powers or Shakti has been mentioned in the commentaries by Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev, okay, of Samaysar. So we have infinite powers, okay. Out of these, only 47 has been discussed, okay, and that is also based on the scripture Samaysar. So in the Parisist, okay, that is called appendix. In the appendix, in the end, Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev discussed these 47 powers, and on those 47 powers, Swamiji has given discourses on that, which are also very good, worth reading. You know, when you read that you have such and such powers, automatically you elevate yourself, right? You find glorification of your own true nature, okay? So these powers must be read because this is our inherent nature. Each soul possesses this power. But when we don't realize this, then we always are begging for, sensual pleasures. All the time we are begging for sensual. I will get happiness from here. I will get happiness from here. I'll get happiness here. And people spend their whole life after getting pleasure and they don't get it, the real pleasure. Okay. And here we are possessed of our infinite powers. Okay. Each power has got its own function to perform. Each power is independent of another. Okay. And we are possessor of these infinite powers. So see, the nature of these six powers firmly establishes that whatever modification of whichever substance is to occur at whatever time, in whatever manner, in accordance with its own principal cause, it will of itself, as a rule, occur at precisely that time and in precisely that manner without the slightest dependence on any other. That means the six powers, okay? Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti. Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Bhav Shakti. Then Bhav, Bhav Shakti, Abhav, Abhav Shakti. Now this Bhav is existence and Abhav is non-existence, okay? In English, if you want to translate, we can do it that way. So these six powers are there in each and every soul, and because of that, its sequence bound modification is taking place without any disturbance, without any hindrances, without any dependency on any other entity, because it has got these six powers. Now you saw the function of each power, okay? So each power has a certain function through which the arrangement of substance, attributes and modification is going on perpetually all the time. Never a time comes when it stops, Everything goes on automatically. Such a nice structure, You fall in love this kind of structure. Just understanding this structure, we are so relaxed and we are enjoying ourselves. Okay. So this was one part. You can also refer page number 109 of Nirdeshika, the guide. Okay. There also these 6 powers are mentioned in brief. That also you can refer. Now we go on, before we go on to the next question, Hemali.
Sir, what is the page number? Could you repeat?
109
9 of the guide.
of the guide, right?
Okay, sir.
I will share the
And
page. I will share that page where
okay,
it's
okay, sir. और एक और सर वो जो लास्ट वाला का हेडिंग क्या होगा? Kindly tell.
1 minute.
In an orderly arrangement.
Unsettled mind
And self-made arrangement.
and self-made arrangement. Hemali.
No, I did not understand what is the meaning of Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, and what is so on means, sir?
What is?
So what are they referring to when they say and so on? मतलब और भी है ना?
Infinite are there. 47 has been mentioned. Okay. And out of this 47, the 6 are responsible for the smooth functioning of the modifications. Okay. Each modification comes its own time. It goes away in the next moment. Who is managing all this? So these 6 inherent power are managing the operations of the modifications. Okay. So there are specific 6 powers which are taking care of this arrangement of modifications. Okay. So, we are understanding this principle of sequentially bound modification in that these 6 powers have a particular function. What is the function of the knowledge power? Knowledge power is just to know. Okay. Similarly, each attribute or each power has got its own function to perform, and it is performing without any stoppage, continuously, all the time. And out of this infinite power, 99.9999999% are manifesting pure, completely pure. Only 21 are there, okay, which are manifesting in the wrong way.
Negative.
Yeah, negatively, okay. Out of that 21, only 3 are major: belief, knowledge, conduct. Out of these 3, 1 is important: belief. Once the belief changes, the knowledge also changes, the conduct also changes, and all the 18 other powers are also changing. Okay. If you want these 21 names, I can share it in the group. I have got it. But these are all came through the source of scholars, So nothing very authentic, but nevertheless, it has been, I have got it. So I'll just share it, the names. It's all in Hindi. I will not be able to translate in English right now. So it's in Hindi. You just read it for your query. Okay. Otherwise, it's good.
Sir,
What
what
is the meaning of Bhav Shakti and Abhav Shakti in English?
Okay. So the first question number 5, shows what is Bhav Shakti and what Abhav Shakti. In each substance, there is a power. Which power? Bhav Shakti. By virtue of which the substance is endowed with its present state. So there will not be any substance without its present state. If you find any substance, it will be with present state. Okay. So that is the function of Bhav Shakti. Bhav, every moment there is some sentiment happening, some manifestations happening. Okay. So that is Bhav Shakti. That is, it necessarily has a definite state. Okay. This is called Bhav Shakti. Now, what is the function of Abhav Shakti? In each substance, there is also a power by virtue of which no state other than the present exists. Because we are going to prove sequentially bound modification, right? So we have to look at the sequence, okay? So there is a power by virtue of which no state other than the present exists. This power is called Abhav Shakti, okay? So this is killing the possibility of any other state coming up, okay? By which no other state can be present in the present moment, okay? Now, through the operation of these 2 powers, each substance has at every samay only its definite modification and no other. Such a nice function. Now the next 2, okay? The next is Bhav, Abhav Shakti. So what was present, in the next moment it will go away. You don't have to call anybody to go away. it will go away on its own because it has got a bhav abhav shakti. So abhi jiska bhav tha, agle samay mein uska abhav ho jayega. Whatever is present in the present moment will go away in the next moment. Okay, so let's see. Do not concern yourself over this. Such a thing will never occur because in every substance there is also a power by which the present modification will, as a rule, cease to exist in the succeeding samay. Next moment it will go away. That power is called bhav, abhav, shakti. And there is another power, abhav bhav shakti, by which the modification of destined to arise in the next samay will, as a rule, certainly arise. Okay. So the next moment, whatever is destined to arise will, as a rule, certainly arise. This power is called abhav bhav shakti. जिसका अभाव था उसका भाव हो जाएगा. ठीक है. Now
So,
the
sorry, so the earlier one is Bhav Shakti, no?
no, the first one is bhav shakti. Bhav abhav shakti. But in Hindi, you know, the a is combined with there. So it is bhava bhav shakti. So in English it has been mentioned that way. But I will share you the Nirdeshika in Hindi, you will find the words. Okay. So in clear terms, it is bhav abhav shakti. Abhav bhav shakti. Okay. Now the last one, bhav bhav shakti. Bhav, again repeating bhav. Then abhav, again abhav shakti. Now what does this? The modification that is destined to occur at a given time will, as a rule, certainly occur at that time. There is also such a power in every substance known as bhav bhav shakti. Okay. So what has to occur at a given time, as a rule, will certainly occur at that time. That is because of bhav bhav shakti. And there is yet another power by which the modification that is not destined to occur at a given time will, as a rule, certainly not occur because there is a abhav shakti. Okay. So these 6 powers takes care of the sequentially bound modification principle. Okay. Now one more question that we need to discuss, that will be the last on this discussion. Everything else you have to follow it in as a homework. Okay. And in case you don't find any question that you are not able to understand, you are always welcome to get back to me on a one-to-one basis. We can discuss. Okay. Next question that we are discussing is question number 12. So there is a concept akal mrityu. Have you listened to that? Now somebody dying at a very young age, accident. People say that akal mrityu ho gayi. Abhi to just 20 years he was only, and he got accident and he got killed. So every day in the newspaper you see that obituary coming in, the relatives give that obituary with photo and all, that he lived a very good life, he was a this, that, Why? Because sometimes it is untimely death. Young people, when young people die, we call it as an untimely death. But according to the principle of sequentially bound modification, whether it is untimely or timely, Jia.
It's timely.
So why it is said untimely death?
Because we think it is sudden, but it is.
We think that it is sudden, but actually it is predestined. Okay. So this is the question that we are going to discuss here. Question number 12. Who is left over for today? Soumya, you only read. 12. There are 3 examples coming up in this question. You will understand the example and you will come to know. Yeah.
Why do you say that according to the knowledge of the omniscient, every death occurs in its proper time? For this seems to imply that from some standpoint, there could also be untimely death. Answer. Whether it actually occurs or not, it is certainly spoken of. Such a statement is made from the standpoint of reduction of duration, premature fruition, and the like. It can also be said from the standpoint of knowledge arising from state of destruction cum subsidence. Just as there is a pot containing 10 liters of water, and there is also a hole in it through which the water flows out at a rate of 1 liter per hour. If a mathematician is asked how long it will take for the pot to become empty, he will, according to his calculation, say 10 hours, which is indeed correct. But if any knower of the future is asked when the pot will become empty, he can also say 5 hours, for he knows that after 5 hours a child will give it a kick, causing the pot to topple over and the water to pour out. Now, from the standpoint of mathematics, it will be said that the pot became empty before its time. But from the standpoint of the knower of the future or of the actual state of affairs, it will be said that it was its destiny. This was its destiny. Hence, in accordance with what was due at that moment, Hunhar, everything occurred at its proper time and through the appropriate instrumental cause. In the same way,
Second example. Yeah.
In the same way, suppose an offender has been sentenced to 10 years of imprisonment. When he asks the judge, the lawyer, and the jailer, when will I be released from the prison? All reply in one voice, after 10 years. And this statement cannot be called false. But if he were to ask a knower of the future, he could also say, after 5 years, for he knows that after 5 years the king's son will be born, and in that joy all prisoners will be released, and this one too will be freed. This statement of the judge and the others is based on the punishment pronounced in the verdict, which the statement of the foreteller is based on, while the statement of the foreteller is based on the actual reality. Hence, the later is the real one, and that of the judge and the others is relative. In the same way, a certain soul has bound the duration of its lifespan for 80 years, but at the age of 40, its reduction is to take place, or there is to be premature fruition. At the age of 20, if he were to ask a possessor of clairvoyance, whose knowledge of the future does not extend beyond 10 years, when will this person die? Then, knowing the duration of his lifespan through that clairvoyance, he would reply at the age of 80. But when he asks the omniscient, he replies at the age of 40. Now, to us, it may appear that one of the two is speaking falsely, but these statements are not false, they are relative statements. From the standpoint of destruction comes subsidence of knowledge in the form of clairvoyance. We will call it untimely death. And from the standpoint of omniscience, it will be said that death occurred in its proper time. Or seeing his health and so forth, we form the expectation that this man will live for 80 years. But when, through ingestion of poison and the like, he dies at the age of 40, we say that he has died before his time. What is the basis of our knowledge that he was to live beyond 40 years? Without such knowledge, calling it untimely is nothing more than a mere statement, is it not? From the aforesaid statement, it becomes clear that death occurred precisely when it was to occur. There was no alteration in it whatsoever. Whatever difference has arisen is only in the manner of speaking. Among words that are made negative by a prefix a, akal too is such a word. It means here is not its meaning here is not before time, but due to some cause other than kal, that is time. For in this context, the word kal is used in the sense of cause, used in the sense of a cause. For the occurrence of event of death, there are many causes, and among them, time is also one cause. In speech, however, many causes cannot be mentioned at once. Therefore, one cause is taken as primary, and the statement is made accordingly. When time is taken as the primary cause, it is called timely death. And when time does not appear as the primary cause and instead some other cause such as ingestion of poison is seen as primary, then it is called untimely death. Indeed, in the definition of untimely death, it is said that death occurring through ingestion of poison and the like is called untimely death. From this, the conclusion follows that the word untimely does not indicate before time, but rather denotes causes other than time. When upon someone's death, we ask, till yesterday he was well, what suddenly happened to him? The reply we receive is simply this, nothing. You may take it that this that his time had come. When one's time has come, who can save him? Had some other cause been known, treatment could have been given for it. And if some other cause, such as ingestion of poison, an accident, and the like, is evident, then no one says his time had come. Rather, it is said he had left home in good health but met with an accident, or someone gave him poison, or whatever specific cause there may be is mentioned. Along with it, this too is said, alas, he fell victim to an untimely death. In this way, untimely death does not denote death occurring before time, but rather death occurring primarily through causes other than time.
Akal mrityu. Akal. Akal means not before time, but cause some other cause like poison, suicide, like accident. So these are all instrumental cause. So for any action to take place, there are 5 causes. So time is one of the causes. So when it is said from the perspective of time, it will be said as a timely death. Okay. But when it is said from any other perspective apart from time, it will be called a untimely death. Okay. And this is a conventional statement. Untimely death is a conventional statement. From reality, we know from the principles of sequentially bound modification that every action happens at the right time. So the death has also happened at the right time. His Ayukam was that only. When he took the birth, your Ayukam is fixed. It cannot be increased or decreased. Okay. So the moment you took a birth, your Ayus has been freezed. Now it cannot be increased or decreased by 1 second even. Okay. So there is nothing called untimely death from the principle of sequentially bound modification from the real point of view. Okay. But conventional point of view, we always say that, oh, it was an untimely death, never expected, these, that. Okay. So all these kind of talks will also stop. The more you realize, the more you go deep into it, you will not like talking anything. Because whatever you talk, it has to come, it has to be true. So whatever you are talking is all false. Oh, such an untimely death. But in your mind that it is not an untimely death. Everything has happened at the right time. Particularly in a family, when there is someone passing away, everyone is crying. Now, the main point is that soul does not die. Right? And if soul does not die, what is the point in crying? Whatever has to happen has already happened. Now you are crying, you are spoiling your manifestations, okay? And you are binding new karmas, Artha Dhyan, Rodra Dhyan, okay? So you are binding new karmas. This is called painful meditation. When somebody close goes away and you keep on crying, you are manifesting painful meditation. And this painful meditation, you are binding new karmas. So everything boils down to decision making. Okay. And decision making is only thing that we are teaching you, nothing else. You make the right decision at the right time and then be relaxed. Whole family is crying, but you are not crying. Why? Because you know that nothing extraordinary happens. Everything happens in perfect order. Okay. So these are some of the principles that are going to help you every now and then in your practical life, day-to-day life. Okay. Whether you are doing business or job, whether you are managing household chores or something else, everywhere you carry this philosophy with you. Everywhere you carry this knowledge of wisdom with you. And in every situation, you are able to find solution. Okay. In every situation, you are able to manifest happiness. Okay. So this is the mantra to decode happiness. Okay. So understand the nature of things as they are. Vastu Vyavastha. Universal truth. It's a universal truth. So every now and then you have to form a habit of connecting it to the universal truth. Okay. So Jia, you are trying, supposing for some college. Okay. Admission. Now you tried very hard and it was a very good college and you badly wanted to get admission into it. But for some reason or the other, okay, you didn't get admission in that and you got an admission in some other college. Okay. So now you cannot do anything. It's already closed and you have already taken the admission. But 1 year out down the line, you see that your college is performed exceptionally well than the other college. Now you are relaxed. Oh, good that I got admission to this college and not that. So Everything is so predestined that our effort in the outside world doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. It's all our past merits and demerits that is coming into fruition, and accordingly things are happening. Okay. So we don't have any responsibility in the outside world. Okay. Everything is so predestined, automatically, self-arrangement, automotion, everything is there. Okay. So we need to take these decisions about substance, attributes, and modification. And by understanding its true nature, you will be relaxed, you will be settled, your mind would be settled, and you will feel relaxed all the time. You will enjoy eternal bliss all the time. Okay. So there are other questions and answers which I am giving you for homework. You should read, because we have come up with so much of discussion. So you should read, and anywhere if you find anything that is you are not able to understand, you can always get back to me. But spend some time. You are already given an homework for assignments, the 2 assignments that you are anyway going to do it. And I'm also releasing that assignment, other one, Gandhar Mulyankan, maybe on Monday, Tuesday, by the time I courier you the books. Okay. So that also I will be releasing. So you spend some time after this Jinwani, read it again and again, revise the pending question answers that we have not covered in the class. That is also a part of your exam. So in objective, you may get some question which we have not studied in the portion. Okay. But I know that principally you will be able to understand everything. Answer everything. But still, if you want to go through that, you can go through that, understand it. If you have any questions, any doubts, any discussions that you want to undertake, you can always call me on a one-to-one basis and we can discuss at length. There is no problem. Okay. But you make sure that you read it once and understand it very nicely. Any other questions for today? We are good with the time also. And next week, we are going to start Kal Chakra. Okay. Wheels of time. Okay. So it's a basically a subject of cosmology. Okay. And I'm going to share a film on that, which the Jeev platform has made it. Okay. Jeev portal. This Jeev team has made a AV, or what you call it? Augmented AR and VR. Okay. AR and VR. They have used AR, VR. It's a very costly film that they have made it. And I will be sharing it in the class. You can read it. The next time, next class, we are going to start that topic, Kal Chakra. There would be some terminology that you have never heard. You may be listening it for the first time, but never mind. We will try to make it easy. Okay. So most probably, I have finished the corrections yesterday. Means I had finished it earlier, but yesterday only the person who was correcting, she is in now USA. So we had a conference, long conference yesterday, and I gave him all the corrections. And now she will correct in a 2-3 days, and then she will share the correct copy that I will share in the group. Okay. And I will also take a printout and courier you. So in all probability, you are going to receive it before Saturday next. Okay. But 1% chances are there that if he's not able to do the corrections, then we may take few more days. Okay. But anyway, I will be sharing the soft copy. So anyway, we will be reading from the soft copy for a few days. And then of course the hard copy will come. Okay. So we have 4 topics, out of which one is for self-study, which are the stories. That also I'm sending the textbook, okay, along with this. So 4 textbook I'm sending, very small textbooks, thin textbooks. And this is the syllabus of our part paper 3. Okay. So out of this, one thing you are going to do in Gandhar Mulyankan, the stories, 9 stories I'm going to give out of that. And rest I will give from Krambat Paryay. Okay. So this is settling our Gandhar Mulyankan as such. Now, the other 2 principles that we are going to discuss is Anekant Syadvad and Saptabhangi. Anekant Syadvad is a theory of non-absolutism, and the other thing is 7-fold predications, Saptabhangi. Okay. So these two are also coming up. We all will be covering in the month of December. Everything will be finished before time. It's all small books. So maybe 2 classes for each. We will be doing it, and we will finish. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
the books that you're sending, because I don't get courier,
Yeah.
can you send me the names of the books? I can go to the
Yeah, I'm
course
sending the
catalog.
soft copies also.
Okay.
Corrected soft copies, so you have to take a printout.
Okay.
Because your courier charges will be more than what you can take a printout over there, right?
Yes, exactly.
So this books I'll be sending who are residing in India itself. Even the Parmagam team also send it to people residing in India. For like abroad people, they ask for extra courier charges, but those couriers are very heavy. So it is better that you take a printout of the scripts. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, I had a question on.
But if you come to Bombay, if you happen to come to Mumbai, or somebody is coming to Mumbai, I can courier to them in Mumbai so that they can carry forward there.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
I had a question on Ayu Karma. So, do we bind Ayu Karma throughout our life, or are there special occasions when we bind Ayu Karma?
So there are special occasions, and those special occasions comes 8 times in a lifetime. Okay. So the first time it comes is when you have crossed 2/3 of your life. Okay. So supposing you have a lifespan of 81 years. So at the age of 54, the first option of binding new Ayu Karma, next birth, okay, will come. If it is not exercised at that point of time, then again, whatever time is left over, again 2/3 goes away, again you will have an opportunity. So first one will come at 54, then whatever remains is 27. So after another 18 years, that is when you are 72, another opportunity will come. Then again after 6 years, so 9 years are left, so after 6 years, another opportunity will come. So this will happen 8 times. And then still, if you have not bound, last 48 minutes is the time when you bind your next life. And that is the time, that's why people start on chanting Namokar Kantra when somebody is near to death. So if the bondage has not happened earlier, so in the last moment, if they are listening to Namokar mantra and something else related to religion, they will at least bind a birth in some good realm, Devgati and something like that. So that is the logic.
Okay, got it.
These are all according to Kevli Bhagwan. Nobody is able to understand when it will happen. So we should be always in good spirit all the time. So whatever bondages happen will happen, right?
Yes.
And even my study says that even I have to go to Narak, I am ready. Because in Narak also you can manifest this, your right belief continues.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can connect to your soul anywhere, right?
Yes.
So we are not worried about going to Narak also. Although we will not go to Narak, of course, we will go to the Devgati, and that also highest level of Dev, where we get to listen this spiritual things, But nevertheless, if it doesn't matter, because the body and soul are two different entities, and I am the soul entity. So if I am the soul entity, I don't desire anything for me. I am complete in myself, right? So from that perspective, we don't mind wherever we go. Wherever we go, we will always be in the happy space, because that's what we have learned to decode happiness. Okay. So nobody can take away our happiness. It's our privilege. It is our right. It is our legacy. It's our patent, So this is all we're going to enjoy. Okay. Anything else? We will just do the Mangalacharan and do the Stuti, and then we will wait if you have any questions. Okay. Nij nidhi nij mein batai, yah